Hello, Foxy listeners, and welcome to episode 259. Today, we are going to be talking about summer schedule planning. Now, I know some of you are sitting there. If you're like me, I'm in Alberta, Canada. There's a lot of snow. It's actually snowing as I record this. So you might be kind of thinking, not really a time to think about summer, but I'm going to tell you why it's important to start doing this now.
I'm Tanya Fox, and you're listening to Fox Talks Business Podcast. I started my career in the corporate world, but always played to my own tune and loved to think outside of the box. This didn't always serve me well with the bosses, so I made the decision to become an entrepreneur. And that little seed of entrepreneurial curiosity continued to grow as I branched out into retail, service, and franchise businesses. Now, I have been fortunate to have amazing successes in the last 2 decades, but they did not come without some really big failures and even bigger lessons learned. And that's why I started this podcast, not just to share the failures, but to show you how you can turn every failure into a success. We're going to hear from some amazing humans from around the world that are going to share their stories of the good, the bad, and the motivational entrepreneurial life has to offer. After all, life is too short to make all of the mistakes yourself, so why not learn from each other? And of course, we're going to have some fun, because as I always say, well, you know what? I'll tell you that at the end of the episode.
All right. So I'm in frigid cold temperatures, but I'm already starting to plan for my summer. And the reason I'm doing that is because this is the perfect time of year. You always get that idea in your head that summer months, you kind of want to take more time. This could be because the kids are out of school. It could be just because the weather is nice. It could be because this is the time you typically, take some holidays or want to have some longer weekends. Whatever the reasoning is, I often find that a lot of my clients will have this idea in their head. You know what? Next summer, I want to make sure I have time to do all the things I want to do. And I'm not just stuck into the office all the time. And then summer comes around and then they're scrambling to try to get together. So this year, I've challenged them all in February to start making their summer hours. So and you can do this no matter how it is that you structure your business. So are there certain days that you want to take off? So if you're a brick and mortar and you're usually open certain hours, do you want to start closing, say on a Friday or maybe a Monday? And change to summer hours. So how can you start getting your customers used to that? If you're a service-based industry, a lot of you might be thinking, well, I don't really need to do this because I kind of set my own hours and I can just work when I want to work. But you still do need to set this up, because what you don't want to happen is that you decide that you want to take Mondays and Fridays off, and all throughout summer, you want to have long weekends every single weekend of the year. But if you're used to doing stuff in 5 days and now you're cramming it down to 3 days, you're going to want to start to set yourself up, getting used to, one, seeing if that's actually plausible to do, and two, start creating that environment, not only for yourself, but for your clients. So what does that look like? Well, that could mean that you do not respond to email messages on Fridays and Mondays. You can still do it, but make sure you start scheduling them only to go back on Tuesday. So they'll kind of get used to the fact that, oh, if I send her an email on Monday, she's going to get back to me on Tuesday. Or if I email her on Friday, she gets back to me on Tuesday. You don't have to say anything to them, but you're going to start to kind of train them. And I know that's making me sound like you're training a pack of animals or a pack of dogs to understand. But that's truly what it is, because we set precedents with our customers that they're used to. And I've talked about this in previous episodes where I've said I've made the mistake of answering text messages or answering emails at 10 o'clock at night because they come in, I'm not really doing anything, I'm just sitting around watching TV, whatever the case may be, but they get used to that. And then all of a sudden when I don't answer them, because again, it's 10 o'clock at night and I gain a life or whatever the case may be, they get upset. Like, why aren't you answering me? But it's a precedent that I set, and it takes a long time to get somebody used to something else. So starting in February is a good time to start getting people used to that summer schedule that you want to then implement going forward. What this also does is give you enough time to, again, like I said previously, make sure that you can take all of that work and put it into 3 days. This is going to take some getting used to yourself as well. So, how are you time blocking? Where are you moving things? Are you now only going to take meetings on certain days of the week? Are you going to only take client calls on a certain day of the week? So, say you now have Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Are Tuesdays going to be your call day where you take calls all day and that's only when people can book? If that's the case, that's fine, but you want to make sure that you're giving advance notice to say to your clients, hey, my calendar is now available for June, July, August for you guys to book your time in because I'm going to have limited availability. So get booked in right now so that you can start filling that people are like, oh, well, I can't do Tuesday. Can I do another day? Because I'm busy because they've already planned their summer too. So the earlier you can get it out and the earlier you can get people booked into those days, it's going to be a lot easier for you. And chances are their schedules aren't filled that far ahead. So that's one thing that I myself always do. Say Wednesdays is going to be your office day. So that's where you're going to be doing all of your paperwork, all of your creative. Maybe that's the day you're going to start doing your social media. Is that doable? Can you actually schedule that in that it's going to fit in that one day? And what is it going to look like? And then Thursdays can be a mix of things. Maybe that's where you're out doing things for the business. If you are somebody that needs to run errands or pick things up or do banking or whatever the case may be. Or maybe that's a day where you're actually having as a travel day if you are a person that actually goes and physically sees your clients. So these are just some ideas of how you can rearrange your week, but you need time to implement it again for yourself and for your clients so they understand what's going forward. Now, here's the catcher. Sorry, as I get more comfortable, I'm getting more comfortable up on my soapbox. You need to understand you do not have to explain to your clients why you are not working Monday or Friday. You do not have to tell them, I'm no longer working Mondays and Fridays because inevitably, and I ran through this with one client that I just had. So she only wanted to work Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. She wanted to leave the weekends open because she's an older lady. She wants to travel. She's kind of doing this. She's a therapist, and so she kind of only wants to do this like kind of during the week part because she likes to go away and travel, and she has family that's out of town and whatever. But I said to her, why are you telling people you're closed on Monday and Friday? Just say that you're booked. Because what was happening is she was like, oh, I'm sorry, I don't work Mondays and Fridays. And inevitably, her clients would say, well, could you just this once? Like, I'm in so much pain. I've got this ache. I really could use your help. Like, you used to always, all of the excuses were happening. And then what she was doing is that she was feeling really bad because as a therapist, she really does want to help people. So she was like, yeah, no, that's fine. I'll take you on a Monday or I'll take you on this Friday or whatever. And all of a sudden she was finding that she was working Monday and Friday almost every single week. So I said to her, stop telling them. Just say, I'm sorry, I'm fully booked on Mondays and Fridays, but I've got some time in Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Let's see if we can fit you in there. And everybody was a lot more agreeable going, oh, okay, yeah. So I'll take the Tuesday at this time because they knew that that was the only thing that was left. But once they knew or once they thought, well, she is not really doing anything, she's not booked with somebody else, I should be able to get that spot. And we do this a lot. And I'm sure if you like check your heart, you'll be like, I've done that before to somebody. Because we all do. It's just kind of in our nature. Well, since you're not booked, right? We forget that the people we're getting a service from have a life. We forget that they live outside of what they do. And it happens no matter what age you're at. As I've told you guys previously, my husband owns a Taekwondo studio. And we'll be out like at Walmart or like at the grocery store or like just at any store in town. And students and parents will be like, oh my God, I wasn't expecting you to see you here. We're always like, you weren't expecting us to get food? Like we do have to eat. But they're like, I don't know. I just only expect to see you in that environment. And it's funny. And they don't mean anything bad by it, but it's just you get used to seeing someone in a certain context and that's where you place them. So that's the only place that they belong. So what I want you to do is I want you to sit down and I want you to really think about what was last summer like for you. What were the good things? What were the bad things? Did you need to take a lot of time for one certain thing? Were you able to kind of relax for another thing? And then use that list to create the summer that you want this 2025. What do you want that summer to look like? Are there certain days you don't want to work? Do you want to end early? Whatever that is. And then how can you go ahead starting to do that planning so that you can start training your customers and clients to understand that that's what's going to be happening going forward. So I look forward to seeing. Now, if you're sitting there going, I have no idea how to do this, whether it be with a retail shop or whatever, this is the perfect time for you to reach out and get some help because I can show you how to do that. I remember doing it with my craft store. It's a little bit trickier when you have brick and mortar or when you have sort of office hours that people come and see, but it can be done. And if you're service based and you're like, yeah, I really want some help looking at this, we have a lot of courses for time blocking, how you can do this, and we're always here to help. So just reach out on social media or on our email and just say, help, I want summer to be better. And let's have this summer that, you know what, frankly, we want. And I think we all deserve as business owners. So, no matter what it is that you're doing today, whether you are planning the perfect summer or just thinking about it, make sure you take time to have fun. Because as I always say, if you're not having fun, why are you doing it?